Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for another episode of Concealer Fest. And today I'm going to check out from Tarte the SEA Hydrocealer Concealer. This is the mini travel size, of which they have a ton of shades. This is 0.03 ounces or 1 gram of product for $10. Or you can get the full size, which is 0.21 ounces or 6 grams of product for $24. This comes in 30 different shades. I have 2 shades, obviously. I picked up 12N, which is fair neutral, and then I also picked up, I think it's 14B, yes. 14B, which is fair light beige. So this concealer is described as medium coverage, natural finish, made to move with your skin, to cover imperfections and hydrate for up to 12 hours. Natural finish, normal dry combo, and oily. It has marine plant extracts to help reduce the appearance of fine lines while smoothing and visibly softening. It's got vitamin B3 niacinamide to help reduce the appearance of pores, uneven skin tone, fine lines, wrinkles, dullness. It has caffeine to help reduce puffiness while smoothing, tightening, and brightening. It is vegan, it is cruelty-free, it is gluten-free, it's got recyclable packaging, and it's got HydroFlex technology, which allows the formula to move with you. So laugh, smile, and cry. Why would you ask me to cry? That's terrible. There's plenty of reasons to do it today, but why would you? You totally bummed me out just now, Tarte. The sweat-proof, waterproof, and oil-free formula covers redness, dark circles, dark spots, and blemishes infused with skin-loving ingredients, yada, 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 clean at Sephora. Let's check out these two, swatched against a few others in my collection. Swatch time! First 2 swatches are both the Tarte SEA Hydrocealer. The first one is shade 12N, Fair Neutral. And the second swatch is shade 14B, Fair Light Beige. Third I've got from Charlotte Tilbury, the Magic Away Concealer in shade 2, Fair. Fourth is from NARS, the Radiant Creamy Concealer in Vanilla. And last I've got from Tarte the Shape Tape in Fair, which looks to be very similar to the Tarte 12N Fair Neutral. I'm going to use the darker of the 2 shades, the 14B, and we just have a typical paddle foot as our applicator on the mini size here. I have a dampened sponge, and I'm going to use my finger on the other side. I've already got my base down, which is a very light BB cream. Let's start with the sponge. I like the undertone of this because that peachy sort of tone cancels darkness very well. You're looking for the opposite of the color wheel. So if you have purple or blue dark circles, you're looking for a peachy to orange color correction. That's not a ton of coverage right off the bat, although I do think some of it soaked into the sponge. Let's try with fingertip. Generally speaking, they recommend, whoever they are, that you use your ring finger when you're working around your eyes because it's your weakest, that you still have a good amount of dexterity and control. That way you're not going to inadvertently apply more pressure and give yourself more wrinkles. This kind of dries down sort of to a tacky finish really quickly, which doesn't give you much time to work, which can be good or bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good. It took me by surprise a little bit. I think we did get better coverage with fingertip versus sponge. I'm just going to try to even this out just a little bit. And I want just a little more coverage in that purple trough of doom. It doesn't seem to like being built up. So this side, of course, had more coverage to begin with because I had used my finger, and it's a little like tacky on tacky, if that makes any sense. It's blending out, but it seems to be fighting me a little bit. I don't know if you can see how it's kind of gathering up in the lines closer to my lash line. It's blending out, but I have to work it. I don't even know if I'd call this quite medium coverage. It's a light to light medium, I would say. Nice finish. And it goes with this BB cream nicely. So I think for a low makeup day, it's quite a pretty finish. This side is doing a little bit of, I'm trying to get that excess to blend out because it just feels like it caked up on itself right along my lash line and doesn't really want to get away. Let me make sure there's no excess. All right, let's take a look. It is not settling into lines or anything like that right away. It is doing a little bit of smoothing, I think. I don't see many, let's just put it this way. The only lines I'm really seeing under my eyes are the lines closest to my lash line on my non-nose ring side of the face, where the product, when I layered it, wanted to sort of bunch up a little bit. I've gotten most of it to blend out, but just a little bit. But otherwise, I'd say it's definitely doing some kind of smoothing for sure, because my lines are really not looking liney, and that's what I like to see. I don't want to look liney. We'll see where we're at. It feels a bit tacky. Let me see if we'll have to set it with powder. I'm going to give it a few minutes. Let's check the time. It is 3:33. Let me put the rest of my face on. I'll be right back. Doing okay with the concealer thus far. I did end up having to set it very lightly with powder, and it didn't take super well to setting. There's a couple little spots where the product just looks really heavy and it kind of caught the powder and held onto it instead of it blurring over. So this might be one where you can't set it with powder, but it stays tacky if you don't. We'll see if that sort of calms down and all melts together. There's potential for melting. It's like 90 degrees outside right now. So yeah, I will be back tonight. We'll see how this one ended up wearing. 1:53 a.m. We are around the 10-hour mark. Let's take a look at how the Tarte SEA Hydrocealer held up. It's comfortable. It seems to wear pretty well. I've lost a little bit of coverage at this point, but not a ton. Let's take a look up close. My only real complaint is that it went from looking sort of like a satin natural finish to a little bit more of a matte finish, and it's really obvious because of the dewy BB cream that I am wearing today, but I could just tell that the finish has changed a little bit. Now, as far as smoothing goes, I do think it does a nice job of smoothing. My deepest lines are starting to break apart along those lines at this point of the night. That isn't really surprising. I wish it had a little bit more coverage. I wish the coverage lasted a little bit longer, but overall I feel like if you've got maturing skin, this does a nice job to sort of cancel out some of those lines. It doesn't settle into them, it doesn't accentuate them, and it does some active smoothing of them. And if you have dry skin, it's good. I wish it didn't lose that satin finish. I feel like it looks a little bit more dry than I wish it did, but I'm not going to say it's drying. It doesn't feel drying at all. I just don't like how the finish ended up drying down, and I started noticing it around 9 p.m. so like the 6-ish hour mark it had lost that satin finish, so about halfway, a little more than halfway through the day. But overall, it's pretty darn good for light coverage, I would say. If I had to give a grade to the Tarte SEA Hydrocealer for dry and maturing under eyes. I'm gonna go A-. I like this one. Wish it had a little more coverage, wish it didn't change finish, but I think it does a pretty good job for dry and maturing skin. So, there you have it. That's my take on this guy. Someday when stores are open and we can swatch again, maybe I will try to get my absolute perfect shade. This one's pretty close. The 14B, the Fair Light Beige for my summer shade, but they do have a lot of undertone options, so pretty doggone solid A-. There you have it. Another Concealer Fest is in the books. If you enjoy concealer reviews, if you want to see more of them, give me a thumbs up down below and let me know in the comments which ones you would like to see next. I keep a running list. I buy them whenever I can. I am still going to review older concealers to start building up my spreadsheet, you know, ones that I may have reviewed or that I've been using since before I created the spreadsheet for concealers. So that is going to happen. Let me know in the comments some of the oldie but goodie concealers that you would like me to put on that list first. The Charlotte Tilbury Magic Way is going to be one of the first. Do not worry about that. As always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. Come back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for new videos. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.